Hello, Lani. The first girl I ever kissed was Shelly. Shelly and I lived across from each other in married student housing, and I guess one day I decided to make Shelly aware of my affections, walked up to her, told her I'd like to kiss her, and did. Or maybe. I don't really remember. We were 4 years old. After that, not a lot happened for my love life for a long time. Not until sophomore year in high school that I met Isabella. And I'm this 16-year-old awkward kid, and Isabella was a quiet exchange student from Sweden. We were both a little socially isolated. Isabella because of the language barrier, and me because Magic the Gathering hadn't reached the level of social acceptability it has now. Those of you coming up as nerds now have no idea. A kid once started a fist fight with me because I had a postcard of Spock in my locker. Rather than take the overly forward approach of 4-year-old me, I decided to ask Isabella to do a movie, to which she excitedly agreed and suggested one she'd been wanting to go to for a while. Our first date when you don't have a car is a challenging prospect. If it had been 2 years later, I could have just rolled up in my Ford Festiva. But now I had to plan carefully. Was I just going to let my dad drive us with his socks pulled up over his sweatpants? No. And where do we go? I can't just take her to Burger King. It's got to be classy. That evening, my stepsister Lauren dropped us off at the Black Eyed Pea. We sat down, and I'm just nervous talking, like a social shark Dalek that was afraid to stop talking. Must make her laugh. Silence kills us. So the food comes and mercifully shuts me up. We eat, chatting relatively calmly. The plates go away, and silence starts to creep up. Now, before my blood pressure reached red alert levels strong enough to propel more verbal diarrhea from my face, Isabella said, No, never mind. This activated another personality I was trying on at the time. The way a man is supposed to be with the ladies. And I said, no. I want you to feel like you can trust me. Tell me anything. What is it? And she said, well, there's this person I'm interested in. And I know they're interested in me too. I mean, you know how it is. You see someone in the hallways and there's just this spark. But I'm so bad with these things, and I don't know what to say, and Ian, you don't seem shy or afraid to talk to anyone, so what would you do? And of course I'm thinking she's saying, Ian, I like you, but let's just be friends. I took a deep breath and said, well, where did you first meet him? And she said, oh, it's a her. I just want to remind everyone of the context here. It's 1996, and I am a 16-year-old boy. And Lani, I have this defense mechanism I always have. I don't know where it comes from, but in times of strife or, let's say, significant moments, my mind shuts off all superfluous thoughts so that I can deal with the moment at hand. And the second she said that, all of my higher function said, no, you're not going to process this right now, and turned off. So that without skipping a beat, I responded, oh, where'd you first meet her? And she said, in biology. And I said, well, that's your conversation starter then. You say, hey, how do you like the teacher? How'd you do on that test? And then you kind of build out from there. And she said, oh, that's good. Meanwhile, this is just now empty up here. And I'm trying to touch two cables together that spark a thought. She's a she? Not right now. Let's go to the movie. We go up to the movie theater, and guess who's tending the ticket booth in the movie theater? The girl she's interested in, and she gets all nervous and doesn't want to go in and says, I can't believe this. We were just talking about her. Can you believe this? Well, I'm having a little trouble believing all this myself, but it's okay. Just give me the tickets and I'll give them to her and we can go in and have a chat. We went in, talked through the entire film, and eventually I convinced Isabella to leave the theater and go hang out with her instead of me. My stepsister picked me up and we rode home in complete silence. I think she took the fact that Isabella wasn't with me as things did not go well. I go to my room, and I'm not kidding, sit at the end of the bed for a good 5 minutes before she's a she? I believe that Isabella kissed that girl a couple of weeks later, her first kiss. I still beat her by 12 years. Isabella and I are still friends today. She's currently married to a lovely woman in London, I believe. I've told that story a number of times, and one of the reactions I get on occasion, usually from a younger guy, is, too bad she turned out gay, man. I kind of think that's the wrong takeaway, but maybe there was some of that in 16-year-old Ian. I'm sure I found some way of making her sexuality and her journey about me. Not unheard of for a teenager. But then, life goes on. You get older and get rejected by many heterosexual women, and then hopefully you go, oh, that's just life. I'm not sure what the actual takeaway is here, and yet somehow I feel like this story has informed my dating life ever since. Water is wet. Summers are hot. Isabella is gay. And some people don't want to date you. Is there a bigger test of character than how we choose to react to the things that we have no control over? Maybe do you always use your turn signal? I'm probably a little bit hard on myself in that story. It's one of those weird human constants where we age, but our memories and embarrassment over our foibles do not. A few years later, I met a girl. And not too long after, we kissed for the first time. But I think I'll keep that story.
No, that one I saved just for me.
See you in 2 weeks, Lani. Oh, I forgot. The movie that Isabella picked out for us was The Craft. Yeah, I don't remember anything about that movie.